Hello Internet, today we're going to make a twisted moving pad, something that works really good with psychedelics, cymatics in my opinion. Anyways, I'll leave you to judge, but for now, let's listen to what we're going to make. Now, before we dive into the main sound design, please take note that you can reproduce this sound or something similar using any soft synth or hardware that supports polyphony. With that said, let's dive into the sound design. Now we're going to use both oscillators, both filters, and the three LFOs for the modulations. Let's start with the oscillators. I'm going to choose oscillator 1. I'm going to choose a triangle wave, and for this I need to access the wavetable mode and choose the second shape, which is a triangle. Sounds just like this. The second oscillator, I'm going to leave it on the default saw wave. And I'm going to mix them 50-50. I'm going to detune just a little bit the second oscillator. And now I'm going to add just a little bit of sub for some extra warmth. I'm going to choose the triangle wave on the sub oscillator. And just a little bit. Now the trick to get the character of the sound is by using the ring modulator. So I'm going to the ring modulator and see what happens. Like that, it's just really good. Now we finished with the oscillators. The second stage is the filters. I'm going to leave them on serial 4 mode, which means that the signal is going to go through filter 1, then the saturation stage, and then the second filter. So for that, I'm going to choose bandpass on the first filter. I'm going to choose it. Up. And first I'm going to unlink the filters, and it sounds just like this. Now I'm going to leave the second filter wide open because I need a little bit of the dry sound, of the dry signal, which is not treated with the filter. And for that, I'm going to use the filter balance as some sort of a dry wet knob, which means that this is the first filter, and this is the second one. And when I blend them together, we get this really nice timbre. And the last thing I'm going to do is to add the saturation. I'm going to use the shaper mode or the shaper algorithm, and it sounds just like this. That's too much. First modulation, I'm going to use the envelopes, the amplifier and the filter envelope, and the filter envelope is going to affect only the first cutoff. So it's going to sound like this. As you can see, the sound is moving quite a bit now, but I want it to move way more. So for that, I'm going to use the LFO1 to modulate the pitch of the first and second oscillator. Now, this is an old trick to make a digital synthesizer sound like an analog one. But in this case of this sound design, it's going to emulate the analog drift of the pitch, and it's going to add just like really nice movement to the sound. So I'm going to put the LFO on sample and glide, choose first oscillator, give it just a little bit. And now the second oscillator is going to get modulated, but the opposite side. So maybe. Now I want the filter to move a bit more, so I'm going to choose the second LFO, put it on the first filter, put it on sample and glide, and leave the rate to a free one, just like the first LFO, and modulate the first filter just a little bit. And to finish giving the sound the movement, I'm going to go to the modulation matrix, choose the third LFO, and make it modulate the filter balance knob. And for that, I'm going to choose destination, filter balance. I'm going to crank it all the way up. I'm going to go to my third LFO. I'm going to leave it on a random rate, maybe slower. Put it on sample and glide and see what happens. Now I want it to be fatter, so I'm going to use the chorus. I have my definable one knob linked to my chorus, dry and wet, so I'm just gonna add some chorus, like this. And maybe some delay, and as I've already explained, my definable 2 knob is my dry and wet delay knob, so it's going to sound like this. And now to finish it, I'm going to use the Polara stump box for reverb. I'm going to use the halo settings, which means it's on shimmer mode. I'm going to turn it on and see what happens when I'll turn the knobs. Now please note that that doesn't mean that you have to buy the Polara to make these sounds. Actually, there's a really great plugin and it's free. It's called Convology XT from Impulse Records. I'll leave a link below to download it. And this plugin actually emulates reverb hardware from the 70s and 80s. It's really, really, really great. As far as I know, the algorithm were written by Wave Arts and the GUI was made by Impulse Records. Anyways, we don't care. It sounds really good and it can actually push the sound even further than what the Polara can make. But I've just used it for the sake of explanation. With that said, I'm going to play a pad I wrote for this video just to make you feel the sound. And that's pretty much it. Hope you liked it. Have a great day.